Well, first of all, thanks for having me on, Wolf. And it's disappointing, and I'll tell you the reason it's disappointing because Americans are going to pay more. They only have the capacity, the U.S. only has the capacity of producing 16% of the aluminum they need. Pretty well almost the balance comes over 60% comes from Quebec. So costs are going to go up along with aluminum and steel. Let's focus on the real problem, and that's China, bringing transshipments in and costing American and Canadian jobs. I want to make sure that we we send more electricity. Well, if I want to send more critical minerals, but there was an unprovoked attack on Canada, on families, on jobs, on businesses. For what reason? The market's speaking loud and clear. Consumer confidence is down. The market's tumbling. There's going to be plants closed in the U.S. Assembly plants will shut down because they won't have the aluminum, or they'll be paying twice, three times as much. This is absolute chaos created by one person, and that's Donald Trump, not the American people. I always say Canadians love Americans. I love Americans, and this has to stop. Let's sit around the table and negotiate a new deal, even though he created the deal in the first place. That's correct. We power 1.5 million homes and businesses in New York and Michigan and in Minnesota. I just got off the phone with Governor Whitmer. I consider her a friend. We worked together for 7 years. She's a wonderful person, and I apologize to her. She understands. But what I recommend is on the electricity bill, put down this increase is a tariff from Trump. It's a Trump tariff, which is basically a Trump tax. I agree that we have to meet our 2% commitment, our NATO commitment. I've said it. I've said it for years. Other premiers all signed agreements sending it to the federal government. We spend 1.4% on defense. It needs to go up to 2%. We have to pitch in our share. 100%, I agree on the 2%. Well, obviously, the Canadians are infuriated, and what it's done, it's united the whole country, and the patriotism is running wild across the country. The lakes I've never seen before in my entire life. We'll never become the 51st state. Canada's not for sale, and we want a great trading partner. We had the greatest neighbors in the world, the U.S., and it's not the American people. They didn't vote President Trump in on this type of mandate. He had a mandate to lower inflation, lower cost of living, create more jobs, and it's backfired on him. Inflation's going up, jobs will be lost. He's taking more money out of Americans' pockets. For what reason? We're still trying to figure this out. Let's sit down at the table and negotiate this deal. If there's things he doesn't like, then we sit down and we have a conversation. But just going tit for tat back and forth, all it does is hurt Americans and Canadians. It's unacceptable. Well, it's one of the items that obviously it gets under his skin. Let's sit down and talk about it. That is as simple as that. Let's renegotiate the USMCA. Let's stop the bleeding on both sides of the border as China's sitting there laughing at both countries. Let's sit down and negotiate a fair trade for both countries, and everyone benefits.